waiting. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains to how we can climb it. Feel it, we'll take it in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains to how we can climb it. Feel it, we'll take it in the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening. It's Saturday, October 19th, 2024, and this is Real Estate with Mr. G. I'm Chris Garguilo. I am a licensed referral specialist, and I'm also an associate broker for Realty Connect LLC, and this is my weekly podcast. Also, I have a Real Estate with Mr. G blog with the minimum of 5 articles per week on the real estate industry, as well as about 2 or 3 videos a week, and to keep you informed on what is going on within both the real estate and mortgage industries. Okay? Now, a little bit about Realty Connect. I have the ability to help you find a home or list a home anywhere within the United States of America. And you either go to my website, and let me put that website up here and now. I have 2 here. Okay. So buy a list, you could do realestatewithmrg.us, and that will get you to my portion of Realty Connect LLC. And you enter your information where you want to buy a property or where you want to list a property, or perhaps you're doing both. And then you will be matched up with 3 top producers in that area. And they will send you information about themselves and discuss different matters with you. And just checking something. And you choose the one that you feel most comfortable with. And I can still consult you. I could give you some recommendations along the way. I can help you. But I'm not actually doing the showing or listing the properties. The beauty of this is that you could use this service anywhere in the United States. A lot of times we have people who are leaving one part of the U.S. And moving to another part of the United States. We have a lot of military in the Hampton Roads area. And for example, my son-in-law, who was living here, was at the Navy, Norfolk Navy base, and then he was sent out to San Diego. So this would be a perfect service for him. And there's no additional fee for me. I will be get paid out of the closing. There's no extra points or whatever. So it's a good thing. So let's do this. Let me show you a little video that kind of puts it into a nice little perspective. Okay, so I hope that summarizes what I'm able to do. And the real estate industry is really changing a lot. And, I talk to different agents, say it's not really different, but it is different because now the agent who's representing the buyer has to negotiate their commission. Now, some agents are just sending out the offers, and they're saying that, in our offer, we're requesting our 3% commission. And the seller may do it, and they may not. In this type of market, where I believe it's still a seller's market, they might say, no, I'll probably get another offer where I don't have to pay the buyer's commission. And what's changing is that the buyer's agent is not, is working prior to this NAR decision, and they're sort of guaranteed that 3% sales commission, whether they do a great job or not, right? But now it's not that, sliding into first base where you're it's comfortable. I know I'm going to get that 3%. Whether I show them one house, whether I show them 10 houses, whether I'm not available all the time or I am available all the time. Now it's going to be different, and what I'm going to see, I'm seeing it already on social media, where a lot of agents are now leaving the industry because it's a lot tougher now. The ones that will stay in the industry are the ones who really have truly made the long-term commitment. And this is the only thing they're doing. They're not, and I'm not knocking anybody, okay? I did some substitute teaching while I was actively showing listings, all right? But that was a per diem, I go in one day if I need a little extra cash, if things were good, I was busy. I didn't have to work. I didn't go in as a sub teacher. Okay. But the ones who truly have made that long-term commitment, who are paying a lot in advertising expenses, these are the long-term ones who they're in there for the long run. And they, with each transaction, they get better and better and smarter. They take their continuing education. They take more classes. They read books on real estate. They keep on top of the industry. And in the long run, that's who you want to work with, somebody who's truly informed. So I think that's what's happening in the industry. Um, and I think in the long run, this could be a good thing. And some agents will say, well, no, I have to discuss my commission, and maybe they just want to pay me 1%. Maybe they don't have the money for my commission. Where I'm going to get it now, and there's some creative ways of doing it where it may still come from the seller, but it's a different ball game right now. It really is. Uh, so I believe Realty Connect is a great service. I'm connecting you with people who are the long-term agents within the real estate industry. All right? Okay, so what are we going to discuss today? I believe it's Maria from New Orleans. She brought in the question, what we're going to discuss.
Good day, Mr. G. I see that there are more listings coming onto the market. Is that true? If so, are there any reasons for this movement? Please advise. I watch your video podcast on a weekly basis with all my family and friends. We all find them very informative and fun. Keep it going strong. Thank you, Mr. G.
That's a very good question, Maria. And there has been recently a rise in listings going on the market. So let's show that article. And this article, 9 out of 10 times, I'm choosing an article that was on my blog that week. One that I really feel hits the current events of what's going on. So let's take a look at this one. Okay. So why did more people decide to sell their homes recently? Now, typically once we get into fall, which we are now, and this is the beginning of the holiday season, the real estate industry sort of quiets down. People are preparing for the holidays. Now Halloween is really big. Halloween wasn't really that big when I was a kid. Was one night kids, boys would dress up as cowboys, girls as little princesses, mostly like from Disney movies, and that was it. But now it's people decorate their houses extravagantly. And they start like a month earlier putting it up. So it's become a big industry. And then as soon as we finish Halloween, they defrost Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé, and we start hearing Christmas carols and the commercials and preparing the shopping. And so basically like our holiday season really starts down at the beginning of October. And we're kind of busy. And also, when people have families, like they want to be settled in by the fall, right? Especially if they have children, right? They made the move. They have their children registered in the new schools, and it quiets down during the fall into winter. So the most recent data from Realtor.com reveals that in September, the number of homes put up for sale increased by 11.6% compared to this time last year. Now that's pretty high. That's pretty good. And they show you this graph here. And they show the different years. It goes back to 2017 and up to 2024. And you see every year as we get into, starting, and that really peaks in May, right? That's what the end of the school year, kids are getting out, and then the parents are going to start looking for homes, they move from one area and they're buying homes. So, and we have a decline going down. You see as it goes down to December. It seems like all the years are like that, right? It moves in a down direction as we get into fall and into winter. But this September, and they have it here in the green, we have a rise. of 11.6. Yeah, year to year. So why is this happening? And Ralph McLaughlin, senior economist at Realtor.com, explains why there was an unseasonable rise. This sharp increase is largely due to the decline in mortgage rates in mid-August, enticing homeowners to sell. So as rates come down at the end of the summer, more people jump into the market and decided to make their move. So what does it mean for the buyer? You have more options, right? It's nice to have options. Prior to that, maybe you just saw, or you were able just to see 2 or 3 homes, but now you're going to have more to look at and hopefully really fine-tune, laser focus on that dream home, the one that you really want. But it adds this, it says, but keep in mind, mortgage rates have been volatile lately, ticking up slightly in recent weeks, and it has gone up, which could limit the number of people who feel comfortable with the idea of selling in the months ahead. And in this market, it's mortgage rates that are largely driving homeowners' decisions, right? And it's that example that we give and that we have been giving, for the last year, if there's a home owner and they bought their house with a 3% mortgage or a 2.8 mortgage, they're thinking about moving up, getting a larger home. And they said, but you know what? Rates are like 6.5, close to 7. That's more than double. And I'm going to a bigger home, right? A more expensive home. And my monthly mortgage is going to be really, really big. So, am I going to put my house on the market during this time? And that is the question. So why buy now rather than wait? So they say that whether more homeowners than normal continue to put their houses on the market will largely depend on what happens with mortgage rates and economic factors that impact them, like inflation, employment, and the reactions by the Federal Reserve. Now, I'm actually going to show you an article from The Economist to talk about these different economic factors. So the rise in inventory, and more technically, the accompanying month supply, implies home buyers are in much improved position to find the right home at more favorable prices, but that might be a very small window, okay? Now, why do we say that? Let's look at this article here. This is from The Economist, and this article was actually discussed last night, Friday night, on the Bill Moyer show, and Joe Scarborough was on it. And it's talking about how wonderful the American economy is. That it's stronger than most European countries and Asian countries. All right, we are doing very, very strong, and we're basically, as it goes in the economic sense, we're doing great right now. We truly are. As much as it's discussed with, I try not to get political in my podcast, but Republicans are saying, well, the economy stinks, but it doesn't stink. It doesn't stink at all. Growth is growing. The GDP is up. We're producing the most oil in the world. So there's nothing else left to drill, right? And Mark Cuban was on Bill Moyer, and he said, if the cost of a barrel of oil goes below $60, these large oil companies are not going to drill more, okay, which would then lower the price even more. Now they're not making the profit on it like they were. So drill, baby, drill is not truly the answer, because you talk about the basic concepts of capitalism. It doesn't make sense to overproduce something where the price is falling, right? So, and the reason why I bring this up, I believe we have a rein on inflation, but it went up a little bit in October, but it was still in a comfortable range for the Federal Reserve. But if it goes up higher again, the Federal Reserve might say, we're not going to lower the rates anymore. We're going to keep it as it is, and/or we might raise it a bit. Now, I don't think they will raise it because they want to continue this path. But people who think it may go down further, it may not happen. It's almost like a week-by-week situation. There's no really easy way to go about it. I mean, the question is whether to buy now or wait. If I had the option of waiting, I would, just to see if it would go down. But there's a chance that the mortgage rates might not go down again in the very near future, because the economy is strong. So it's really a case-by-case scenario. I mean, there are some people who just have to move. Example of people being deployed to another part or being transferred to another part of the country. So they don't have that option to wait. It's a case-by-case scenario. What works best for you? But, and it's funny, usually in the past, for the real estate market to change, it was a slower process, but lately it's been very volatile, right? I mean, you never had a gigantic jump in interest rates like we did here during the pandemic, right? In a very short period of time, it went from below 3% to almost 7%. Usually takes this a long time period before that starts moving up, but that didn't happen this time. So it's a very tricky market. It's really not something that's easily defined. All right, it's like I said, it's a week-by-week situation. And to be honest with you, I would say, if you could wait, I would say wait. And I could be wrong. But again, if you're in a situation where you have to move, you just have to move. But you have a little time. Let's see what happens in the spring. Okay, that's enough of me. All right. Now, let me show you a nice little video that kind of puts this into a nice little summary. All right. So with more inventory, you have more options. And like I said, this week, mortgage rates ticked up a little bit. We don't know if that's a regular trend, if that's going to continue. And sometimes after election, sometimes the economy is there's a lot of perks about having perhaps, well, in this case, it will be new leadership because the incumbent is not running. So the spring could bring a lot of good things. A lot of things that if Vice President Kamala Harris gets into office, we could do a podcast on that and what items she's proposing and how I think it would really, really help the real estate market. Okay? All right. Now, remember, on my blog site, you have the recent things to consider when buying a home, the fall 2024 edition, as well as things to consider when selling your house, the fall 2024 edition. Again, these come out quarterly. So we're in fall now. This is the fall edition, and it goes along with updated information on the market. And where do you get all these wonderful guides to download for free? Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you. Okay, and you go to realestatewithmrg.blog/resource-materials. And again, if you just go to my blog, you'll see that in the menu, and you just click on that, and you could download these items for free. And I want to get rid of this. I'm at the wrong thing here. Okay. Now I'm hearing from our producer we have a dancer in the audience. I think that's what you said. That stopped by and wants to do a little show for us or something.
Mr. G, great news. We have a celebrity in the audience. After enrolling in St. Petersburg's theater school, it didn't take long for her to take center stage, graduating at the tender age of 17 as a leading soloist. She was taught by the great Frenchman Charles Dildo, dancer, choreographer, and creator of the ballet shoe, which further propelled her career. Ladies and gentlemen, Avdosha Istamina.
Well, thank you for stopping by. That was very nice of you. It's a very different name. I'm not going to try to repronounce it, but thank you for stopping by. All right, well, that's our show for this week. Hope you learned something good. And next week we'll have our Halloween show. and we'll discuss the most current topics within the real estate industry, all right? So see you next week. And always remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift, each other. Thank you.